I want to start by saying welcome to our continuing coverage, I guess, of the internship development program. And we're talking with a few of our current and one of our past interns just about what the program is all about. I'm Sean Jackson, and I'm just moderating. I'm nobody special. So,
oh, hush your mouth, Sean.
But I would like to go ahead and introduce Megan Murtaugh, who's going to provide us with kind of an overview of the program, and then we're going to start talking to our interns. So, Megan, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us, Sean, and thanks for all of your help with putting this together and then doing a lot of the editing for us after the fact. I appreciate all your assistance. All right. So basically what I'm going to do, hopefully, is keep it real short and sweet and just give you a brief overview of the AECT Leadership Development Internship Program. And we have a program that offers 3 different types of leadership assignments or selections, I guess we have. We have the Carl F. Strobin, we have the Lee W. Cochran, and the Jenny Johnson. Those are the 3 different leadership internships that we have. The first 2 leadership positions that we have are managed by the intern coordinator, which is the role that I'm serving in right now. And then the Jenny Johnson internship is managed by the international division. So if you have questions about the Jenny Johnson program, you'll want to make sure that you contact the link on the web page, which is aect.org/intern program. There's information specifically about each one of these different internships. And there's a link that you can contact the person who's in charge for the intern, the Jenny Johnson International Intern. And then I'm listed on there as the intern coordinator for the other 2 interns selections. And I'm sorry, I was in an webinar earlier today, so I'm like stumbling over myself because I'm like, what did I say already? Because I already talked about this earlier today. All right, so these 3 people that are listed here with the different types of internships, they are all previous former leaders within AECT who are no longer with us. And these internships serve as a legacy in honor and memory of them in their role as leaders within the instructional design and technology field, as well as in AECT. So because of all of their work in the organization, there's been this program to continue on and continue developing leaders in our organization so that we can continue to grow as an organization and in the field. So it's a great program to be able to be a part of. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what it's like to be in the program. Some of the highlights of the internship program include being featured at the international convention during the year of your internship. So this year, our convention is in Kansas City, Missouri, and the intern class that's selected will play a key role in helping with setting up for the conference before it begins, with facilitating sessions and setting up sessions and acting as support throughout the conference, and also getting a chance to engage with different leaders within AECT to see what it is that it takes, the different characteristics and different thoughts sometimes of what goes into being a leader, and also getting a chance to see behind the scenes how the organization operates. So as an intern, you kind of have a backstage pass, so to speak. When you're wearing that intern medal around your neck, you can go and visit all of the different meetings that are happening, any session that you'd like to go to, except for when you're going to different intern required activities. But we'll talk more about that later. And then after the convention, actually during the convention and after the convention, you have opportunities to meet with a mentor who's paired with you based on a goal that you identify, whether it's a personal goal, a professional goal, or a leadership goal that you work on over the year that you're an intern with AECT. We match you with a mentor who will help you achieve the goal that you set for yourself. So we don't just provide an opportunity at the convention. We look to develop and support our interns after the fact as well. So in order to be eligible for the internship, you need to either be a graduate student or a new professional who's been in the IDT field with 3 years or less after graduating. So those are the two eligibility requirements in order to apply for any of the internship programs. Some of the criteria that's looked at for selection is service. Service within AECT, service outside of AECT. We're looking to see that you're giving back, based on your experiences and knowledge that you are gaining in whatever program you're in. And then also we're looking for your commitment to AECT. Have you gotten involved with AECT so far? And what are your thoughts and ideas of how you can continue to be involved with the organization in the future? We're looking to see what types of leadership roles maybe you've held within AECT already, and that might not necessarily be a position that you've officially held. You might just be volunteering to help out with a specific project, and you're taking on the lead as doing a specific project within a division or a committee in the association. We're also looking to see that the application that you submit is professional. Then that's in the form of, writing and, organization and being able to articulate your thoughts and ideas clearly. We're also looking to see that the goals and interests that you have personally align with the leadership development program. How are you looking to continue to be involved within the association after being selected as an intern? We have an online application that will open April 2nd and close June 4th this year. And part of that application process includes you filling out an online application form, answering candidate statements, which are available on the intern website right now. So you can actually start getting ready before the application even opens. You can take a look at those candidate questions / statements and start thinking about your answers. And then you also need to submit either a CV or a resume as part of your application packet. And you need to also identify a sponsor who will write a letter for you in support of being an intern through the AECT internship program. So those are the 3 things that are required in order to complete your application packet, and everything is submitted online. A little more information about sponsors, and the sponsor has got to be a current AECT member, and the sponsor can only write a letter and support one applicant. So that is really important that you make sure the sponsor that you identify and ask to write you a reference letter, a support letter, that they know that they can only write for you and not someone else. That is one of the things that delays the application process or ends up by disqualifying someone from the application selection process is by identifying a sponsor that already has an applicant in the system. So make sure that when you identify a sponsor that they know that they can only write for you and only support you in this application process. In regards to that as well, you want to make sure that the sponsor that you're asking is familiar with you, someone that knows you, knows who you are, knows what you've been doing, and is familiar with your capabilities, what your potential might be within the organization as a leader, and that they can articulate that in their letter. That is part of what is evaluated is your sponsor's knowledge of who you are and what you're able to do. So you don't want to wait till the last minute. Here are all of the information, all the dates that you need to know for this year's application period for 2018. Like I said, the online application will open on April 2nd. The link will be live on the intern page starting April 2nd, and then it will close on June 4th. So you have about 2 months or so, a little more, to complete the application process. So you do have quite a bit of time that you can take to get all of your materials together and get them submitted. Then once the application period closes, we have a selection committee who will go through and review all of the applications that are complete. And then they will confer on who they would like to identify as potential leadership interns for the 2018 year. And those are then presented at the summer leadership meeting, which this year will be held in Kansas City. And that will happen July 26th and July 27th. And so once those names are submitted to the AECT board, then they basically usually approve the names that are recommended. And we make an announcement, a formal announcement of who's been selected as the 2018 intern class. And so you'll get, anyone who applies will get some type of correspondence around July 26th. Sometimes it's the 27th, 28th, a day or two after, depending on how fast we can get the information out. But you'll be notified one way or another if you've been selected or you haven't been selected. So, and one of the things that happens too is if you're not selected, part of the response that we send out, or that I'll send out, is to let you know that if you would like me to review your application and give you suggestions for applying again in the future, that I'm happy to do that. So, for example, I applied 2 times in order to be selected for an intern, to be an intern recipient. I applied in 2013 the first time and did not get selected. And then in 2014, I applied a second time. Well, from 2013 to 2014, my involvement had changed significantly. Plus, I had approached a former intern and asked her to review my application responses. And she noticed that there were times where I didn't give specific enough information about activities that I had been involved in. So she actually was able to suggest that I develop some of my answers a little bit further. And that's something that most of the past interns are very open to. So if you are interested in having your responses reviewed, you definitely want to make sure that you take advantage of that and contact an intern, a former intern, and ask them to review your questions. And but you need to make sure that you give them time to do that. Don't just plan on submitting it to them to review like on May 30th during Memorial Day weekend and expect to get that back in time to have it submitted. So just plan ahead. But most people who've been involved in the intern program are very happy to answer any questions that you have or review information for you. You can definitely do that. Again, our conference location this year is in Kansas City, and the dates that our interns will be expected to be present there are October 21st to the 27th. Those dates are a little bit different than actual attendance of the conference because starting last year, we had our interns come in early, and then they really got a behind-the-scenes look of how the conference unfolds and how it sets up. And it obviously doesn't set up on its own, but they were part of the setup process. So they really did get an in-depth behind-the-scenes look of how the organization operates. And that will continue again this year. So that's why the October 21st date is the first date that the interns will be expected to be there. All right. So that is basically the overview that I was hoping to share today about the intern program. Sean, if you want to take over and go ahead and start us off with the questions that you have.
All right. Thanks, Megan, for the overview. Appreciate you walking us through all that stuff. I will say about the seeking and receiving feedback, Megan is great about if you ask her, hey, I really need some feedback on this. How do I get better? She'll take the time to go through that and give you specific feedback just on what you put in there. So Megan, we appreciate you doing that for all the applicants. So to our interns, I'm going to ask the question, and when you start answering, just kind of introduce yourself to people who may not know you out there or maybe watching this recording later on. So first of all, how did you begin your leadership quest in AECT? How did you start getting involved? What were the first steps you took?
I'll lead off our gang here. My name is Bruce DuBoff. I am a second-year PhD student at Rutgers University in New Jersey, and excuse me, I'm in the School of Communications and Information. I'm also a 25-year high school English teacher and currently a middle school librarian. So I have my master's in library science, getting my PhD in library science. My involvement came from, and I said I'm going to talk about everything today about everything in relation to context and learning. So I wanted to learn what it was like to be part of a bigger organization. I was a member of the New Jersey Association of School Librarians, and that's a state organization. But I wanted to see if involvement in a national or an international organization was the same kind of experience. And ALA and AASL, although they're great organizations and I may be involved with them in the future, aren't really my academic home. They're just not. They're just not my academic home. So the reason that AECT instantly appealed to me so much is because when you go there, you're embraced as an academic, whether you're really an academic or not. And it becomes, you create this context of you're already one of us. You don't you just because you're here and not somewhere else, it means that you're one of us. And, that creates a motivation, which creates a context, which leads to learning, which, learned me that I should be involved in AECT. So I'll stop there.
Oh, so yeah.
No, go ahead.
Go for Hengtao, please.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Hengtao Tang. I'm currently, I think this is my 5th year as a PhD student at Penn State. So I'm the ISM intern for the 2015 at AECT. So how I started with the leadership quest, I think I remember it's like 2013 when I was in Anaheim, California, the conference, the AECT conference for that year. I talked with several of my friends, and like Megan at that time, I think she has already involved in GSA. That's the Graduate Student Association, Assembly, sorry. So after that, I talked with several of my friends, and they suggested me to start to step into the ground and to get involved into the Graduate Student Assembly stuff. And then that started with my leadership quest. I got involved. I ran the election that we just finished this year's election. At that year, I was elected to be the International Division Board Representative at the GSA. And then the leadership quest journey starts. And one step by step, and I moved forward to be an internship. That's kind of a brief story of mine.
Cool, I guess that's my turn. So my name is Tugce Aldemir, and I am 3rd-year PhD candidate at Penn State University. So I'm in Learning Design and Technology program, and I am currently the AECT GSA president. So how I get involved? Actually, I'm originally from Turkey, and from Turkey it is a little bit harsh or hard to attend AECT because it's quite expensive. So since I came to United States, which is like around three years ago, I met these awesome people called Hengtao and Jason. They are all like Penn State people, and they introduced me to ACT and GSA family. And I decided, hey, why don't I just get involved with this community? And then I decided to run for a position in the GSA, and I ended up being the DND division representative. And once you get involved with this community, you can never leave, because it's really, really awesome. I mean, you learn a lot of things, and you can network, you can socialize with other people, get to know lots of people. And also, we have Kyle Pack, Dr. Kyle Pack at Penn State, who used to be my advisor, who also happens to be past interns in ACT. So by the encouragement of Jason, Hengtao, and Kyle, I decided to apply for the internship. I didn't get in the first year because I didn't really have any kind of service at all. It was my first year in the ACT. But after my DND representative position, I got the internship last year along with Bruce. I was a concurrent intern, and it was a great experience. And thanks to Megan, it was really awesome. So that's how I got involved with this family.
That's great. And many of you may have approached this next question in your previous answer, but if you were given tips to those who desire to be AECT leaders, what's one of the things that you would tell them?
Yeah, I can start with the answering this question. I think as we talked before, as we three all shared that our experience with the leadership quest. I think the first thing is like, I know everyone has that kind of leadership potential, has that kind of leadership. You are motivated to be the leader for the organization. But I think one of the most important things is like you get involved in the organization as active as you can, and then you will find you can find the room for improvement for the organization, and also you can find how your strengths can fit into the organization. And I think that's really important for you to get involved first and accumulate some experience, and then you will build up that kind of the leadership. Consolidate your leadership potential and fit into the role as an internship. That's kind of my personal suggestions.
We way too often live in silos. We live in political silos. We live in social silos. We live in economic silos. We live in academic silos. We know we all do. AECT is an opportunity for us to get together and break the limits of those silos and combine, my grain and Hengtao's grain and Tugce's grain and Sean's grain and Megan's grain, and see what kind of crazy bread we can come up with. That's that you can only do that at a place like AECT, where you're having both national, international students from all over the country, all over the world, bringing different ideas, different perspectives, different ways of looking at things. But more importantly, this is your opportunity as a member and an attendee of AECT. This is your opportunity to make those connections. These are the people who you're going to be writing papers with. These are the people whose names you might have already seen. These are the people who you're going to want to collaborate with. These are the people who you're going to want to consult if you have a question about something. These are the people who you're going to seek when you want a publication opportunity. These are the people who you might want to get a job from. So, it behooves you to forge positive relationships, not only because it's, a great thing to do, but because it's a great thing to do for you.
Yeah, I agree. Both Hengtao and Bruce on whatever that they said. I would like to add that everybody is extremely nice in this community, so don't be shy. Just go out and talk to them. They are I was quite shy when I first attend my ACT. I couldn't really talk to people, but then I find out that it's not how it's supposed to be. Everybody extremely nice. Everybody would like to talk to you, would like to know more about you, and they love fresh blood, literally. So just go and talk to them, and like don't feel intimidated. Like those big names you see and read papers of. You just go to them and say hey, and they are very humbled and very, very humble and very down-to-earth people, very open to new people, and would like to discuss further with you about anything that you would like to discuss. So don't be shy, be active, because we need, I think, more fresh blood, like any support, that anything that we could create, because this is our community. I mean, maybe today we are not the big leaders of this community, but tomorrow we are going to be the big leaders of that community. So we are creating that future all together. So I mean, let's create all together. Just join and be active. Don't be shy. Talk to people. So that's how you start your leadership journey, I think.
Make sure that you're the guy who can offer coffee to somebody, because if you offer coffee to somebody at the conference, they'll give you practically anything.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. You can see my wife's colorful socks in the background. I will ask the next question, and we've already indicated that Convention Week, you have all access pass to anything you want to see, anything you want to sit in on. But we also know that, the reputation is that Convention Week is busy. So is it truly as busy as they say?
Let me talk about it first, because again, I said I was going to talk about everything within the context of context and learning, which is what I'm kind of studying right now. So the truth is, unless you build the context for what it's like to really be a player at an international convention, you're not going to have any idea of how to run an international convention. You're not going to be a player in the industry. You're not going to be a person who people can really, one day look up to or one day think of as a peer. This is your baptism by fire. I mean, you must do this. If you want to understand the true nature of the dynamic nature of the organization and the full structure and the plan of the organization, you must be an intern, because you must immerse yourself in the authentic activities that are happening right there. And unless you feel a little bit of the burn, a little bit of the pain, unless you're a little uncomfortable, I don't think that you've really experienced it fully. I'm going to go off. That's not to say it's a negative experience. It's a wonderful experience, but just understand, it's a wonderful experience that is experienced, not like you're not going to love every second of it. I mean, it's an experience, and it's an important one.
What it boils down to, yes, the week is very busy. Go ahead, Tugce.
I'm sorry. So I think I agree with you, Megan, and also Bruce. I mean, it's a busy week, to be honest, but I kind of associate that experience with like you ended up being in Hogwarts or Wonderland, like lots of things to explore and lots of things around you that's really, really interesting, and you wouldn't want to miss any opportunity of exploring any of those interesting things, right? It may tire you, but it's a great opportunity. You can learn potions, you can learn transformation, like as if like you ended up in Hogwarts. So it's a great experience. Of course, it's going to be tiring, because you will see lots of great opportunities and lots of great experiences, and and you will meet amazing people. So it's going to be a little bit tiring. So I guess my only suggestion would be like try to eat well and try to not take any kind of risk, like work or any kind of responsibility apart from internship. For example, in my internship experience, I was trying to write a ICLS paper, like proposal, and I didn't sleep at night, which almost killed me. But I really enjoy. I didn't drop my face because I really enjoy every second of it. But my suggestion would be just be cautious about that and eat well and focus on your internship experience rather than anything else.
I think for me, it's like every ACT convention, every week, the whole week, you will feel like, even though you are not intern, I think you still feel like you are pretty busy. So if you were intern, I think it didn't change too much. I mean, from the workload, you just get up early and to talk with people, to get involved in the different meetings, and then to be well represented at the convention. So it's not as stressful, not as so busy as you may think about that. But I think it's a really happy experience for me. And also, you have the intern class. You are not alone. You are not alone there. You have friends who accompany with you. And for that year, when I was the intern, Jason and Wendy, we three already served the GSA board for 3 years together before we served as the intern at that year. So we are pretty good friends and we support each other. Yeah, that kind of feeling like you still have your good friend around you, and you can join the meeting together. And that experience, I mean, really rewarding and really happy experience. So try to apply for the internship. And another good thing for that week is that I really like the word that Bruce just shared, immersive. You are totally immersed into the organization. You are immersed into how the organization organize the conference, how each people get involved, and from different perspectives. You will talk with the leadership team. You will talk with the famous faculty members. You will also talk with your mentors. You also talk with a lot of graduate students. You will know about the conference from different perspectives during that week. I know that's kind of the heavy mandate, but it's a pretty rewarding experience for you to be there as an intern. Thank you.
Oh, thank you all. Those are great things to keep in mind. Megan, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that as the intern coordinator, I put together a schedule for the interns for the week. But I do try to keep in mind that they need to have opportunities to explore things on their own and be able to attend sessions and such. And so, I'm trying to make sure that I get the schedule that they have to be at for intern-related activities to them as far in advance as I possibly can. That way they can start, scheduling and structuring what they want to do before they get to convention. So yeah, it's a very busy time, but it also is what you make of it. So, some of your time is scheduled, but some of your time isn't scheduled. And then what you do with that time is totally up to you. So if you say, oh, I'm tired, I don't feel like doing anything, and then you just go sit in your room, you're not getting as much out of the experience. Automatically assume you're going to be tired that week. Might be a good idea to take off the next week from work or school or whatever when you get home and sleep then. But make sure that you're putting in some time and some effort into what you want to go see. So wearing that medal gives you access to anything you want to go to. What I would recommend is looking at the program before going to conference and figuring out what division meetings do you want to go to, what committee meetings do you want to go to and sit and listen in and see, and are there other areas that you're not involved in AECT yet that you want to get involved in, because that's a great opportunity for you to be able to do that. When you're wearing that medal, you can just go in and sit anywhere and listen to anything and learn as much as you possibly can about the association and how to keep moving forward.
All right, thank you for that. You bring up a good point about it is what you make of it. Don't just go with your time off and try to rest. I remember the first AECT convention I went to, people notice when interns are not around, are not visible. They're saying, are they making the most of their opportunities? And so, make sure. And this last one in Jacksonville, for example, I saw Bruce and Tugce all the time. I mean, if I was out, I saw them somewhere. And so that's one good point you bring up. What was the most
John
valuable?
And Jess even more.
Oh, yeah, I saw them as well. What was the most valuable part of the internship for you, or what is the most valuable part of the internship?
Oh, I can start if you would like. So I think for me, there are many valuable things that I gained from that experience, but one of the biggest, I guess, valuable the thing that I gained from that is the meeting lots of people and spending time with awesome people. Like, not like, hey, you go to their session and you listen to them and you ask them a few questions. That's a great experience too, but it's more like social time. So you are actually spending time with those people in social time. And it's a great way to know more about them. It's a great way to network more. And it's a great way to actually introduce yourself to that community. So I really, I think, enjoy that aspect. And I also love how we carry the medal. It's like all the attention was on us. I feel like I was the queen who was just entitled with the crown, just walking around with my medal, and I was like showing to that everybody. So it was another cool thing that I think I got out of the internship experience. Oh,
I'll hit it, Hengtao. For me, the internship experience, I wasn't brand new to AECT. So I had already been with AECT a few years. I'd already kind of served, in some leadership positions. The internship for me was a great opportunity to see things from a side that I hadn't seen them before, to see the inner workings of the organization. I had met a lot of people. And I had, made a lot of connections through the years, and that was great. But this year, I saw that there's people who make signs, that there's people who are responsible for getting water in rooms, that there's people who have to reserve space with a hotel for a certain amount of time, and that, that has to be coordinated properly, and that they're, and I learned this as the chair of my state convention, but this is so much bigger. So for me, the internship gave me, I think, and some of you alluded to it, gave me like a little piece of every part of the conference. And that really kind of expanded my context of what it would be, for example, to run a conference, to be a major influence on a conference, to choose the speaker, to choose the keynotes for a conference, to budget a conference. These are all things that I would find them fascinating, and I will work with those other people. I mean, we will write papers together and such, et cetera, et cetera. But I thought the organizational part was just in of itself just cool.
I think for me, the most valuable part for me is the friendship and the mentoring I received. As I mentioned, I'm lucky to be with Jason and Wendy in the same class of internship. And the good thing is that the good thing for the internship is that you can have the chance to work on the leadership internship project after the convention, and that is another great experience for us to work together. We three share the rules and to facilitate the stuff. We worked for the organization to identify the webinar platforms. That's what we did. And I also saw like Tugce and Bruce, your intern class has did some wonderful job in the student survey, right? and also submitted to the presented during the convention. I think when people get involved in this kind of projects, we can have more opportunities to learn from each other and to share our friendship and share our experience into the project. So that's one of the good things for me. And also I received a lot of the mentoring opportunity. I think at that time, Robert, we call him Bob. So Bob was a great mentor, and Hannah was a great mentor from the Sam Houston University, and Yu Chang, Dr. Yu Chang from Boston State, was also a great mentor for me. These three helped me to build up my leadership potentials and to get to provide me some personalized recommendations and offer me some opportunities to get involved in the organization. So that's really good for me. And another thing, like we offered some suggestions for people who want to be the AECT leaders. But when you become the internship, that means that you already stepped up into the ground, like as a young leader. So that's kind of the way you can fulfill your role of the leadership to make more contribution to the organization. So I think that's also a great benefit when you be selected as an internship. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. Now, kind of the other side of that, what was or is the most challenging part of the internship?
All right, so I'm gonna take this one first because it was very tangible for me at the last conference. Your health is most important. You're not good to anybody if you're lying in bed sick. So, for example, I'm a type 2 diabetic, and during the conference, I was so busy, and we were all so busy. Sometimes I was forgetting to drink as much water as I needed to. Sometimes I was forgetting to eat. Now, I'm not on insulin. I just take pills. I'm not one of those hardcore diabetics, but I got sick because I did not take care of myself. And here I am, if you can imagine a scene, and Tugce may have seen it, I don't know, running through the hallway, literally like throwing up on my shoes, making sure that a report got to somebody on time. It's no way to live. So being an intern is wonderful, but you have to be self-aware. You have to take care of yourself. I'm not saying that that you're not going to be busy and you're not a service. It's not a service-oriented position. It is a service-oriented position, but service begins with you. And if you're not in tip-top condition, you're not in a position to serve anybody, well. And that's just one point of many. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure to make that point.
I can share some of the challenging experience for me. So I think I'm kind of reflective person, but I'm not so. At that time I'm not so confident. So I was a little bit worried about whether I can fulfill this role of internship well during the convention. I was a little bit nervous before that. So I talked with my friend. I remember I talked with Tudolini at that time, and he recommended me just be there. You were selected. You will be. You were selected, and it means that you were qualified to do this. Just be there and to try your best to enjoy the conference and to do the great things. So I think that's challenging for me, and that's also one of the beneficial part for the internship. You can get a lot of help from different friends, from people who really want to support you. And another challenging experience, to be prepared for the conference. You will, like we mentioned, we will have a busy week. We will meet a lot of people. To be prepared for that, to be prepared for that week. You should realize that you will be on the spotlight during that week. Just get prepared for that. Your turn, Tugce.
Yeah. I think I will say two things. First one is don't try to write something at night, or don't go around sleepless. just get your sleep, okay? That's the most one after health. That's the second most important thing. Just sleep. Sleep is good. Sleep is our friend. So that's the first thing. The most challenging thing was for me. And the second one is, it's not that I'm alcoholic or something, but not to drink anything was a little bit challenging, because after long day, you just want to hang out with friends and socialize with cool people and drink a few beers, and everybody was drinking and I was looking at the beer as if like a small puppy looking at the milk or something. I was like, but that, I mean, of course there are great reasons behind that rule, but it was a little bit challenging.
All right. Now, our final question is, if somebody comes to you and says, I want to apply to be an intern, what is one thing you will tell anyone who says that to you looking for advice or some insight?
If you're going to apply, if you're looking to apply to be an intern, have a guide. I think Megan might have mentioned it earlier. There are some people at AECT that are extremely well connected, and they all kind of serve on a board, and they all know each other, and they're all very talented people. And you really need to, like, if possible, target one of those people and say to them, look, here's what I have to offer. I would love to work with you. I would love for you to sponsor me through this program. But choose the right sponsor. A sponsor can get you, it's like they can't always get you the job, but they can get you in the door. And that's kind of what a good sponsor does. And then the other thing is, like somebody said earlier, you don't have to make it on your first try. The only reason I made it on my first try is because I'm old. I mean, I might like kick off, like next year, but you guys are young. I mean, you got a couple of years, and keep in mind that we're all working on papers, so, and we're all like writing stuff. If you're going to apply to be an intern, make sure that writing is solid. I mean, as solid as it can be. Remember, it's going to be read by some of the smartest people in the country. And that's not to be intimidating. It's just, hey, your T's got to be, crossed and your I's got to be dotted. I mean, it's, you have to kind of understand your audience. And, and I think if you have a good, guide, to the process, a good sponsor, I think that person will probably help you with that, but those would be my two pieces.
Oh, okay. So I guess my suggestion would be to be active, get involved in any projects, any kind of activity going on. And if you don't know anybody who would introduce you to this family and this community, you don't need to know everybody. You can just reach out to us. We can be your friends. We can be your guide throughout this process. We are all happy to help you and just reach out to us. Get involved with the projects. If you are grad students, start with GSA. We are trying to initiate some projects for the benefits of graduate students of the AECT family, and get involved with those projects. They would be really helpful for us and for you to get recognition, to get known by other people, so they can get you the internship. So get involved, be active, don't be shy to reach out to anybody, and reach out to us. We are all your friends as fellow grad students. Just reach out to us.
I think, Tugce and Bruce already provide a lot of good suggestions. I think talk to people before you start your application is really important. And as I mentioned, don't be too worry about the application. When you get involved in the organization, you will know about what we want and what we should do. So, and feel free to talk with the leadership committee. They are good people, and I think they are a good role model. They will share a lot of good insights about the application. So feel free to talk with them. And also, another thing, like to plan your application early. it's not like the final paper. You can work on the deadline, but you need to find a good sponsor to help us throughout the application. You two should work together throughout the way. I mean, not until the last point before the deadline. And also, I have some suggestions when you being selected as an intern. So first thing is also to plan ahead, like to get all the things done before the conference. So you don't worry about your sleep, like to just share. You don't worry about your sleep. You can, fully hearted engaged in the conference. And also another thing is like when you be selected, get the internship. It's not an award. It's just a start for you to serve the community, serve the organization. It's a kind of new start for you to be as a young leader to get involved. So just forget it. It's an award.
Also, great stuff, Hengtao. Also, there's an intern coordinator. Ours was Megan Murtaugh this year. That intern coordinator is a tremendous resource to you. I mean, she's your everything. She's, your mother, your father, your brother, your guide, your taskmaster, your teacher, your everything, your mentor, your everything. So, if you're thinking of applying as an intern, it's the first thing I would do. I mean, Megan Murtaugh, I would go to somebody who was the intern coordinator and say, well, what do you think I should do? In other words, the interns better than anybody else. Can you help me? And Megan, being the nice person that she is, or any of the other intern coordinators, or any of the people on the board, ask the people who know. And I'm guessing they'll tell you the best answers.
Poor lady will get millions of emails tomorrow. Thanks to you, Bruce.
So I think that would be actually the best thing in the world for Megan. I think Megan would be very happy if she got millions of emails tomorrow.
I think that's what I said. Just plan ahead because Megan will be busy.
Mm-hmm. If anyone has questions, you can definitely contact me. The email to use is AECT-intern-chair@aect.org. And I can answer any questions that you might have in regards to the application process. Like everyone else has said, going along, don't wait till the last minute. Make sure you start on your application early. And one of the things that I also wanted to point out too is that your sponsor doesn't have to be a huge name in the organization. Your sponsor just has to know you and be able to talk about what your abilities are and what your potential is as a leader in AECT. And they obviously have to be an AECT member, but they don't have to be a well-published author or a well-recognized individual within the organization. As long as they're an AECT member and they can talk about what your abilities are, what you've done, what you can do, what your plans are, if they're able to describe that and discuss that, that's what's important. Take a look at the criteria that's on the application website and really look at that, because that is what's used. It's there. It's pretty much laid out word for word what's going to be analyzed, what's going to be looked at and evaluated as part of your application, what we're looking for. So make sure to review that criteria as you're putting together your application packet. And my last comment is, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Like I said, I did not get selected the first time I applied, and many of our interns did not get selected the first time they applied. So if you don't get it this year, try again next year. And make sure you ask for feedback on your application packet, specifically where you need to develop or where you could improve to strengthen your application.
All right. Thank you, Megan. And thank you, Tugce, Hengtao, and Bruce for joining us today and giving us insight into the internship program. You can always reach out to any divisions of AECT. We all have different Facebook pages. We have social media channels. So to get involved and connect with us, we're just one click away from a lot of different places. So we try to be out there and open. but any of our members are great, and they will answer any of your questions. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope everybody will apply to the internship program if you feel led. Don't be shy, okay? So thank you all for being here today.
Thank you very much. This was a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Be sure to tune in and join us as our special edition webinar series dealing with the internship program continues.